Good evening, you guys. It is Wednesday night. It's like 8 o'clock. I got out here way later than I thought I would, but I wanted to make sure that my hair wasn't sticking to my forehead. I wanted to make sure that I got this recorded before I leave for a week so that I can see the progress when I get back. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna try to do this as quickly as I can so that hopefully I can edit it in the airport while we have like a gajillion hours of layovers tomorrow. Okay, so you are seeing this a little over a week after it was recorded. I had intentions of editing this video in the airport when we were on layovers, but we had a kind of unexpected flight cancellations in the first legs of our trip to Hawaii last week. And so we didn't have a bunch of massive layovers, and the day was just way too stressful to think about editing videos. And then it was just wedding, and Hawaii and friends and just the beach and all of the amazing stuff. And so I didn't even barely pick up my phone and take as many pictures as I wanted to because I was just so in the moment. So anyways, now you're seeing this a week after. I'm about to do a garden tour this evening as an update. So I'll be posting these tours back to back. It'll be really fun to see all of the changes. So I might as well start up here with my messy deck. You can see there's still some white powder. I treated everything with diatomaceous earth to try to get rid of some grasshoppers because the grasshoppers are intense. So you can see the green stalks are coming on really good. We got tomatoes and ground cherries and borage. The peas petered out, but I'm kind of using this pea to help trellis this cucamelon, more tomatoes. This is just herbs. This is some bells of Ireland, which I love, and dill. Root veggies, which my mom is probably going to be harvesting while we're gone. Mugwort. I harvested some basil and put it in the dehydrator yesterday, so at least we got some of that done. Nasturtiums. Everything's got powder all over it still, but we're gonna rinse that off here in a little bit. Yeah, mostly just cucamelons, borage, tomatoes. The kids' cute little planters. We keep putting them down like this because we're afraid that this tower could tip over. It's not very sturdy like the green stalks. Let's see, I planted tomatoes in here because I was just wanting to have a little something more. I treated it with a ton of diatomaceous earth because the caterpillars were destroying my hollyhocks. So I put the DE on everything to hopefully help. Down here, there's a cucumber. My clematis vine got really messed up. One of the kids, I think, fell and broke a branch and then it died, so I just pulled it off. But not hopeful that we'll get any flowers on that, but whatever. Let's see here. Look at this. There's a ton of DE on it. I was really worried about it because someone told me that the grasshoppers would destroy this rose, but look at that, you guys, my very first rosebud. Let's see if we can get it to zoom. Oh, I'm so excited about it. It's gonna open when I'm gone. This one, I'm not sure what happened to it, whether it was getting eaten by bugs or whatnot, but this little cutie one right here is doing really good. And there's another rose, doing pretty good, a bunch of new growth. We got a tomato here, just doing really well next to the potatoes. And then right here are a bunch more tomatoes. I planted all of these 5, that one, not that one, I planted that one a couple weeks ago, but these other 5 I just planted this week. Trying to get as many tomatoes as we can. These ones are doing super good. I just pruned these really good so that they'll hopefully have a good growth by the time I get home. Get this bed doing fabulous. Bunch of root veggies, turnips and beets in here. Tomatoes, I lined all over the place. I just stuck tomatoes in everywhere. We got a bunch of onions in here. It's kind of slow growing, but they're still going. The peppers are stunted. I don't know what's going on there. Tomatoes, that one's got a nice little flower on it. Some cucumbers, cucamelons, which also aren't doing that great, but whatever. Tomatillos, more tomatoes, a big old beet. Hopefully those will be ready by the time I get home. Lilacs that I still have yet to plant, don't judge me. This bed is looking amazing. It's super full. I'm letting all the mustard go to seed so that I can harvest the seed. We've been eating on all these greens. We got Swiss chard, beet greens, kale, more tomatillos. I just harvested a bunch of cilantro. This is part of the reason why I traded with diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth. It's a tongue twister. Because the bugs were just destroying the leaves super bad. So I'm trying to protect them. Oh, look at this little pea bloom. So cute. We got a nice little, oh, it wilted, but there was a nasturtium bloom there. Let's see here, we got more tomatillos, another tomato, more onions, and then my beans. The beans are probably gonna be ready by the time I get back, maybe before. They had a lot of bugs on them too, so I treated them really good. We got borage and zinnias in the front, and nasturtiums, and some little pansies. Hoping we get some zinnia blooms by the time I get back. I did also plant wildflowers along here, but they're not doing so good, so I'm not very hopeful. But I also planted some down in here. These little cosmos are doing kind of good. We got a little sunflower. I just kind of threw them in this empty patch. This bed right here, sorry, we were cleaning up the yard for mowing, and you can tell Spencer put some stuff up here. We got a sunflower. The kids picked most of the carrots out of here. I need to replant it. I have a couple tomatoes I'm gonna try to stick in here tonight after I do this, so they can just be in there. But this bed has cucumbers in it. Oh, some thunder. I'm just kind of letting this bed do its thing. I am gonna add tomatoes, like I said, but I kind of want a lot of space for cucumbers, so there's that. I did plant some stuff down in here, but it doesn't seem to have come up. That's a weed, which is whatever. I wasn't very hopeful. I was hoping it would be like this. I put some squash seeds in there, but they didn't come up, obviously. But this one is doing fabulous in just this weird little spot by the bed. And there's a sunflower in there, looking super good. So yeah, that's those beds. Spencer got everything nice and mowed before we leave for Hawaii. Okay, here we are. So, for folks that have been following along, this is the experiment section. All this right here, it was meant to be 3 rows, but it's kind of morphed into this one patch. But so this was a row, this was a row, and then this was a row. Everything yellow that you see are snapdragons that I started from seed and then sown in here around the bachelor's button. But all of this greenish silver foliage, that's all bachelor's button, which is just starting to pop. You can see some of them back in there. There's also asters and some zinnias. Those will probably be popping by the time I get back. I think this is a sunflower. I didn't plant it, it just came in. There's a bunch of rutabaga too, or black-eyed Susan. I'm not exactly sure what it is. We'll find out when I get home. Giant patch of lettuce that we've been harvesting as microgreens. A few of them were able to kind of spread out away from the big patch, so they're able to get a little bit thicker. I've been harvesting this once or twice a week. I'm gonna try to harvest a little for my mom and the kids so they can eat salads. My kids love salads. And then here's the Three Sisters section. This is the corn I planted the first go, everything that came up, and then everything else kind of didn't come up very well, so I re-sown different kinds, and you can just see them barely starting to come up here and there. So hopefully that fills in pretty good. Also, this is so weird. I keep saying my hand. I got a Kalo ring, or 2 of them. I double stacked Kalo rings because I never travel with my big wedding ring, because it's just too important and precious to me that if anything were to happen, I would be heartbroken, because it's custom made and it's just irreplaceable. So it's weird. I keep seeing my hand in the camera and I'm like, wait a second, where's my ring? But anyways, so we got pumpkins and watermelons and birdhouse gourds and some more zinnias. This is my orach patch, which if you've seen this before, orach is also called mountain spinach or perennial spinach. I have been harvesting the heck out of it for the rabbit and feeding it to him to keep it from flowering. But it's just so vigorous, you guys. It comes back and back and back. Like, I've harvested it down so many times this week, and it just grows like crazy. It's awesome. And then, so my last garden tour, you were able to see my garlic was here. I harvested all of the garlic, got about 40 cloves, and it's downstairs stinking up my basement while it dries. And this is all tomatoes. You can't really see them. They're really kind of shrimpy and not doing the greatest, but with compost and all the soil I added and amendments, I am hopeful that these will perk up and be beautiful. Oh. We live like a mile from the hospital. And living a mile from the hospital means that you hear life flight and sirens a lot, which, whatever, it is what it is. I had like a 3-minute commute to the hospital when I had my son in April, so that's pretty fabulous. So back to tomatoes. I planted all the tomatoes in really deep trenches, and I planted them sideways away from each other in the rows so that I could bury the stems as much as I could to have them root out. And I just buried them in as deep as I could, and hopefully they'll perk back up by the time I get home. We'll see what happens. They needed to be planted, and so now they're in the ground, and hopefully they're happy. And then up here we got some more squash, pumpkin, viney stuff, some random stuff. We got a rose, zinnias, and a watermelon, and a big squash. And look at this, it's covering it up really bad, which sucks, but there's a grapevine. You know what, I think I might just do this because I can, and it's my garden, and whatever, we want our grape to get nice sunlight. So it's a grapevine, more squashes and stuff. The bee balm is kind of making a comeback. Same with the blanket flower, the gaillardia. Anyways, that's about it, guys. It's getting too dark out here. You can't really tell because my phone is kind of keeping it pretty lit, but it's getting too dark out here to really film with any quality. So I'm not gonna be able to show you guys the garage side. Maybe I'll try to snap a picture of it in the morning, but it's just sunflowers and some random seeds that I just, again, came out of pillowcases from back in Oregon, seeds that I recklessly stuffed in pillowcases before I moved, and I just kind of threw them on the ground out there. And I've just been throwing water at them and seeing what happens. We do have some sunflowers that are about 6 to 8 inches tall, so I'm hopeful that those keep pumping out. And I am stressed about leaving my garden, but I'm excited to see all of the changes. It's different when you live in your garden every single day and you're not really seeing those big strides in growth. But when you leave your garden and then come back after a week or so, it's just really fun. So I'm hopeful for that. I know that my mom and the kids, they will have it on lockdown, and they're wonderful gardeners. And so it is in very good hands. Anyways, that's about all for tonight, guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna have a fabulous vacation in Hawaii, and we will see you out there. Goodbye.